Hey there, everybody. Lauren here, Mrs. Tomato Head. Welcome to Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce. It is June 6th, 2024, and the summer is rocking and rolling. I guess not officially according to the calendar, but my tomatoes are finally planted. I think they were last week too when I came to you. Um, but now like the mulch is in, our supports are in, so I can like breathe a sigh of relief because they weren't getting tight from the respect that if you watch my show, if you've watched in the past, you know that I kind of converted to from solo cups. I used these seedling grow bags, these really tall ones. And let me tell you, it's a good thing we did because we have we have great things going on the weekends. I'm not complaining. I'm very grateful that we've got friends and family that have a lot of weddings and showers and graduations and all of that stuff. But it has taken up just about every weekend. Last weekend, we moved my son and his girlfriend into their new apartment in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. But we did have one good day in there. So anyway, they're all planted, and I meant to take a picture of it all and it's all mulched and everything too. So, and every little plant I could squeeze in without it feeling too cramped, I did. And the rest of them all went to Heidi. If you're watching Heidi Jory's, she got everything else that I wasn't going to plant, which is hard. It's hard for me to give things up. I was keeping a lot of things like duplicates and all of that, like just in case. Thankfully, we haven't needed any just in case. Yeah, I can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief because as I'm watching everybody in the group in Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap, like they've had things planted forever, I'm just like, oh, I wish we could just have like a day, but it's all good. I worry over nothing. Welcome. If it's your first time watching, I come to you this time every Thursday. And what you just witnessed, that little like down the rabbit hole rant, if you will, that's basically what this show is. It's basically me having a thought about tomatoes, always tomato related, and then just going blah, 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 blah. So if that's your thing and you're a tomato head like me, I think you'll enjoy yourself. The actual premise of the show is I talk about the 10 tomatoes I'm obsessed with every week, and I invite along my friends who are here, and I like to bring everybody into the conversation as much as possible. Hi, me and my shadow, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not working today, so oh boy, can catch the full live. Awesome sauce. Fantastic. Hi, Rowena. Glad you're here. Luke is here from Belgium. Teresa is here. My friend the Swamp Bitch is here. Hello, hello. Oh, my partner in crime, Jen Joy, is here watching while I mulch again. Jen and I, in addition to this show I do on Thursdays, the first Friday of the month, just about every first Friday of the month, Jen and I we do a show called Tomato Talk Live. And tomorrow is our June show. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific, and I think that's 1 a.m. Central European Standard Time, something like that. Ooh, the hair's looking rough today. I had it up in one of these and I took it out, and maybe I should have kept it up. Who cares? I'm in gardening gear mode, so I've got dirty fingernails, messy hair. Who cares? So anyway, tomorrow night, and we have a phenomenal guest tomorrow night who Jen and I met with earlier this morning. William Alexander, he's written, I think, 4 books, but 2 of them are tomato related. The $64 tomato was one he put out a couple years ago. And actually this is too, I call it his new book. But as of today, this is the 2-year anniversary of the release of 10 Tomatoes That Changed the World. Let me tell you, I love both books. This one, I was telling Bill and Jen in our meeting today that I have this on Audible audiobook, which I tend to do. Like, even if I have it on Audible, if it's a book I like the hard copy too. I've listened to this all the way through probably about 3 times already. It's a great dive into the history of tomatoes. If you're a true tomato head through and through and you care about the stories, and I'm guessing if you're here, you probably do, because I tend to talk a lot about history of various varieties. I don't really have much of that today, sadly. Usually they kind of fall into my lap. I've always got a story or something going on. Um, but he talks about 10 tomatoes that changed the world. If you haven't read the book, you want to. And I want, if you can, watch our show tomorrow. It will be recorded if you're unable to watch us live. Bill will be giving away 4 free copies of his book, signed copies, to 4 lucky live viewers. And we also have John Kramer from our group. He's giving away a pair of Felco pruning shears. So John's always so generous, always donating something to during every episode if possible. I feel badly I don't get back to him all the time. Sorry, John, if you're watching. Anyway, this is great. If you ever want to know how you know the Americans brought tomatoes to Italy, he actually goes to Italy and goes to Pisa and talks about the. I don't want to give anything away about the top 10 tomatoes. We'll be talking about it tomorrow night. But anyway, Jen and I are super excited for that episode. And then I think, whoops, I think Craig LaHoulier is joining us back in July. Jen, we really need to I know he confirmed, but it's been a while. I always feel like I still can't believe Craig's joining us, even though we're friends now. I still can't believe is he real? Did he really say he was going to join us in July already? He did. We're going to talk about tomato genetics, which is super exciting for me as I start diving into manually breeding my own tomatoes. So that's a scoop. Watch us tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and like those other times I mentioned. So this is every Thursday. I've just gone on a little bit of a rant again. And I've got lots to show. I've actually got a little mini taste test going. I've got some photos, and I've picked 10 good varieties. Ramonte, I see Ramonte's here somewhere. So there you are. Ramonte, hello to all. Oh my, finally, I'm not sleeping. Here it's 11 p.m. in Lithuania. Hello, Lauren. So missed you. I've missed you too. Ramonte is my history diving into varieties buddy. She has the number 1 tomato I'm going to talk about today that I just found out about today. And she's asked me before, how I come to find these varieties. I swear it's organic and it usually happens day of. So very exciting to show you that. Let's say hi to more people. Oh, Keena's here, my other partner in crime. The 3 of us run our group, Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap, on Facebook. It's a wonderful place of kindness and sharing tomato love. We have resource sheets, learn all about different breeders and types of tomatoes, variegated. Keena's got a variegated resource sheet there. Jen's done an entire listing of Dwarf Tomato Project. I've got some breeder resource sheets, also a pretty killer micro and mini dwarf spreadsheet that is just for our group. So if you're not a member of our group, please join us. Hi, Keena. Keena is in Norway, so it's late for her as well. Don't panic. It's just natural hair. Says, I live in Nevada and I forgot to bring them in when I went to California. They stressed. I had to bring them in and they are just stunted. Oh, don't panic. I'm not going to tell you not to panic. I'm just calling you by your name. I'm sorry to hear that. This weather in the United States this spring has been crazy. It has been crazy. And I feel like that's, everywhere in the United States and maybe across the world too. I'm not really sure, but we had, I think I showed last week, photos and a video of this. We had something called a microburst. Heidi saw it yesterday, our huge Christmas tree in our front yard, just completely uprooted and bent over. So that's history. Thought I was going to lose my tomato plants, but thankfully they weren't planted yet. So they were all bunched together. And I think if they had been planted out in the garden, they would have been history. It was a crazy storm. But I know out in Texas and Arizona, out your way in Nevada too, there is excruciating heat. I know Malachite Jen sent me a picture for thermometer yesterday. It's just crazy. So I say this every week, I think, we can get good quality seed stock. We can use the best soil. We can nurture our little seedling babies and, give them the best start ever. and Mother Nature. We are at the mercy of Mother Nature, whether that means weather or whether that means pests or whatever. So we can only do so much. And I was talking my dentist. I brought my dentist a couple weeks ago. I brought him a whole tray of seedlings, peppers and tomatoes, and I had to go back in yesterday, and he was telling me his plants are doing really well. And he said, "So, do I prune or do I not prune? Suckers off and things like that." And I told him, there's a lot of schools of thought with everything tomato. And I think something that I know I forget sometimes is that tomatoes have been around a lot longer than humans have been interfering with their growth. Maybe not the varieties that we have today, you know, some of those varieties that are new, maybe they haven't been around today, but back when tomatoes first came to Italy, the United States, South America, people weren't being, oh, I better prune that sucker and I'm going to top the plant here and I'm going to put a fish in the hole, honestly, and it so depends on climate. It so depends on, how much water there is, the humidity, there's so many factors. So, um, don't get me wrong, I do tips with my tomatoes too, but sometimes I laugh when I hear myself talking like, got to prune the suckers. No, don't prune the suckers, which is what we did last year. We didn't prune anything. And then I remind myself, like, who are we to, humans to think we can just interfere with Mother Nature? But we can do things to better our chances of crops. I won't lie with that for sure. All right, who else? Oh, Deb. Deb, I'm mentioning you a few times today with a couple of the varieties I'm going to be showing. My buddy Deb, we got to meet in person a few weeks ago, and she gave me some plants, which I'm going to be talking about. Two of them today. They're looking great, by the way, Deb. Thank you so much. Anthony Smith. Hey, Lauren, first live show. Thanks for joining us, Anthony. So glad you're here. Betty Johnson from Virginia. Hello. Thanks for joining. If it's your first time watching, and even if it's not and you forgot, I'm still behind on the prizes, but now that everything's planted, it should be back to me being able to get stuff in the mail. If you're willing to wait, you can put in hashtag tomato in the comments, and I will draw five there we go, 5 names at the end of the episode. If you messaged me from last week and you haven't heard back from me, don't worry, I have it saved. It's just been kind of crazy. So type in tomato anytime during the show today. I will put you in my handy dandy trade notebook here and I will get them out to you. So where are we at? Let me get more. I don't want to get too far behind in comments because that's when things go drastically downhill. Nicole Smith is here. Hey, buddy. Glad you're here. Hi, Terry. Hello, Lauren Owen chat. How y'all doing? Green Thumb Gardner 65. Hey, Heidi. How are you? Satya is here. Hello. Glad you're here. Who am I missing? Cynthia's here. Hello. South Louisiana. I know who you are. Hello, everyone. Am I missing anybody? Oh, Missy's here. Hello. I'm so honored that you guys join me on Thursdays. Oh, here's my buddy Michael, my fellow micro dwarf breeding buddy. He and I are doing this neck and neck together. Michael, I need to get you my seeds for you for my micro. And then I've crossed 2 other things lately, so my fingers are keeping my fingers crossed. It's a bit ambitious, but I've got a couple ideas that I just had to do now. So we'll see how that goes. Whoops, where'd my comments go? Let's get rid of, there we go. All right, so Michael's here. Did I get everybody? Oh, Kathy's here. Didn't get Kathy. Hello. Oh, Dee's Garden Adventures is here. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here. There's my Malachite Jen. Malachi Jen, I don't know if you saw, I've been a bit busy, haven't been in the group much today, but the first one I'm talking about today was based on a comment from Ramonte that I tagged you in this morning. I don't know if you saw it, but you're going to want to stick around to see at least the number 1, because my mind is blown. Truly, it's blown. Mama EC's here. Hello, tomato heads. I like your emojis there. Lisa is here. Weather is crazy, but kind of unusual for North Carolina. Yes, here too. I mean, we had that microburst. We had earthquakes, for goodness sakes. I'm in New Jersey. We don't get earthquakes. the microburst I'd really never heard of before. It's kind of like winds of a tornado, but it's just crazy. It has been hot too, but nothing like out west and in Texas. Nothing, and in the Midwest, all the tornadoes. My goodness, it's awful. I've heard so many of you in the group talking about losing plants, and I don't want to say names since this is a public viewing thing, and unless she's here, it's not mine to share her name. But one member shared some pictures yesterday and was talking about losing a lot of plants. So that's unfortunate. Rowena's here. Hello. Definitely crazy weather in Canada, many places. Yeah, don't know what's going on. Troy, did I get you, Troy? Hi, Troy. Hi from Tomato Alley in Sonoma, California, from the Facebook group. Happy to have you here, Troy. Nice to meet you. What else I get? Seeing a lot of hashtag tomato. I see you grow Rose here. Hi, Ro. Glad you're here. Sherva's here. Hello. Linda's here. Swamp Bitch says, I live in Louisiana and will plant the same variety on the riverbank as well as our property, which is 10 minutes away. And some do better there, some do better at home. Proving my point exactly. So interesting. So interesting. Ramonte, why work a lot if you can relax in bed with a book during that time? It's best not to touch the tomatoes. They will be thankful. I prune only if I can't enter my greenhouse anymore. Very interesting tip from you, Ramonte. I appreciate that. Yeah, sometimes I think we may interfere to the point of disease and failure, crop failure. I don't know. That's just the theory of mine. Anthony, we're happy you take time to be with us. Honestly, thank you, Anthony. I share this just about every week too, that I put in the work to have like slides and stuff available because I like to show pictures. I'm a visual person, but honestly, it's my favorite day of the week. It really is. It's fun for me to come and just talk tomatoes with my people, my tribe. Your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So it's a real pleasure. Ashley, hello from my garden where I'm weeding, hunting hornworms, and listening to Lauren. Well, hope you find the hornworms. We have not done the black light at night yet. But then, of course, we've only had the tomatoes planted for 2 weeks. They're looking great. Let me show you guys. I took a couple pictures. So Rob we had 2 of these raised beds last year, and he agreed to put in 4 more this year. And then last year we kind of winged it with the staking of these things. We had those really big Texas tomato cages, if you know what they are. They're not like your little wimpy tomato cages that, like, these size seedlings already outgrew. Texas tomato cages are very tall. You can get 2-foot extensions for them. They fold flat. They're just awesome, but they're also very expensive, and we don't have enough for 150 tomatoes. So Rob came up with this idea for the T-post, and then he put fencing in between, and I think it's going to be so awesome sauce for us. So he just finished our very last one last night, and then I put straw down for our mulch. This is our in-ground bed. It doesn't look like an in-ground bed right now because what you can see is only the grow bags. So the very last row, I don't know how well you can see if you're watching on a small screen. The very last row in the back there, you'll see it looks like all grow bags, and that's because it is. That's our cherry row. That's where we put all of our cherries. And we've had the same in-ground bed for quite a while. I know you're supposed to rotate beds and all of that. We don't do that. We noticed a couple years ago that stuff in the back row just wasn't doing well. If you can look a little further beyond that and to the left, there's a massive tree and the roots. And Rob actually dug things out. He put the sides of these plastic terracotta pots in the ground, BPA free, of course, took out the bottom so the roots couldn't get to the tomatoes, put those in the holes, and those darn roots pushed their way through the plastic. So we decided this year we will still plant in we actually started calling it death row, to be honest with you. That's our cherry row. This year we're doing all grow bags back there. The other 2 rows, row 1 and 2, we are putting grow bags in between the in-ground spots. In the front there, you can see like a tin watering can. I have borage growing in there. I swear, once I started putting borage in that garden, we never had hornworms again. No, I shouldn't say these things without knocking on wood. But in fact, I got a really beautiful borage that Woodland Creations from Etsy sent me. It's called Bill Archer borage. I think I may have talked about it last week, actually. It's really pretty. I should have put up a picture. So that's what's in there. But the grow bags you see are actually in between. This front row here, most of it is the Bill Yoder row, the Depeche Mode line. I think the first two to the right are green Milo, black Milo, and then all the rest to the left are all the Depeche Mode series. Some of them I planted early, and so I'm getting tomatoes on some of them, which I will show. Now this, I forgot about this one. So this one is the one second in from the right. This is Magician by Alafirov. This was not planted early at all. It was planted March 25th along with a lot of ours. And look at the tomatoes on this thing. And I was telling Kina and Jen, I don't even know that it was a week ago, maybe it was less than a week ago, I think. I was showing them this plant still in a tall grow bag saying, because I was trying to whittle down varieties. I'm like, do I plant this one? And then I see these massive tomatoes on. I'm like, I better plant it. So I did. So this one, obviously, I don't know what it's going to be ripening, but sure developed fruit fast. So this was not planted early yet, is still getting fruit. And I shared a picture in the group yesterday. I've got my first Jarson 16 fruit on one of my 3 plants of 3 different variants of the Jarson 16. And that one wasn't planted until April 3rd. Pretty neat. This was started, I think, a week earlier than the others. This is the Depeche Mode Strange Love by Bill Yoder, and it's looking really neat. And then this was started in February. This was one of my garage tomatoes. So was the other one, actually, but this was really early. This is Suffer Well. So looking forward to that. What else we got? Oh, so I have one green stalk. I put like greens, like kale and chard and bok choy, tatsoi, all kinds of things in that. We eat plant-based, so we eat a lot of vegetables. The other green stalk, I did all micros and some peppers. So this is a micro that I started a while ago. It wasn't doing great because I really needed to up pot it. And I know it's kind of mishmashed in with other things, so it's hard to see, but it's if you can look carefully, there's a plant there with all kinds of flowers, and then there's some fruit there, which I have more of a close-up there. Look at that. This is called Black Patio, which is from Russia. Don't know that you can find anything on the internet about this, but it's shaping up to be a really gorgeous micro. So excited for that one. What else did I have? Anything? I don't want to get too far ahead. Okay, yeah. So is there anything else I'm missing here? Yeah, let me share this. So last week's episode, let me just scroll forward a bit. Last week's episode, I shared a variety called Keith's Ailsa Goldleaf, which was a mutation of Ailsa. Now I'm forgetting. Who is it? Keith's Ailsa. Now I'm forgetting. Anyway, I shared about it. It's got gold leaves. And I shared this graphic from the website Hayfield that these are the 3 different types of seedlings you'll get. There's a green, a greenish yellow, and a bright yellow. And they tell us which ones to keep. Looks really unique. And, the more I talk about things myself, the more I talk myself into getting them. And I get paranoid that they're not going to be available. I'm like, oh, I just said this on the air. Like, what if everybody buys them up? So after the show, last Thursday, I ordered 2 packets of these seeds, and do you know these showed up at my doorstep by Monday? Ordered them Thursday late afternoon, evening, actually, by the time my show's over, at least evening for me. Hayfield is the name of the website. Prices were good. I think it was like $4, $4 a pack, and there's how many seeds? It says 12 plus, but let me show you if you can see. There's a lot more than 12 in there. I got 2 packs. So, A plus for shipping on that. I mean, the mail, I don't know the mail where you guys are. The mail has been so nuts for me in my neck of the woods. Ken Fry just got a letter. He told me yesterday that I sent to him weeks ago, and he's not that many states over. And I know there's mail problems all across the world right now, but kind of annoying. But somehow I got these in 2 days. So, and they do still have some in stock. They said 2 were left in stock, and I think a lot of sites do this. They say there are 2 left in stock when I ordered them last week. So I ordered those 2. It still says 2 in stock. That's all right. Whatever you need to do. They wrote a nice note with it also. So that's Keith's Ailsa Gold Leaf. Okay. So there's a plant that I wanted to bring inside. I've had growing for a while. This is a micro, where'd it go? Micro / mini dwarf called Cheeseman's Galapagos. Sorry. Cheeseman's Galapagos. It was bred by Helbrogger Madsen. She's in our group. She's from Denmark. I've been growing it for a while. And the plant's on the way out. It doesn't look great at all, but it's starting to produce fruit, and I'm sort of trying to let it die off to make room for other things. So, but I wanted to show you the plant. It's growing in, I know it looks scarce. I just picked off a lot of dead yellowing leaves this morning, so it's looking pretty sad. But this is it. I'm growing it in a 1-gallon pot. According to Heritage Seed Market, it says it's the name. No, wait. It says it gets to be 0.5 to 0.6 meters, which is 20 to 24 inches if you're not in the metric system. For me, in the 1-gallon pot, it's at about 14 inches tall. But obviously, and I say this all the time, depending on the size of the pot, it will do better. I'm always trying to figure out, is this a variety that's conducive to growing indoors? And it was. I only brought it outdoors maybe 3 weeks ago. And so what you get are these really cute yellow fruits. And I thought I would taste one with you guys here. What else does it say about it? Thin leaves, early. From Heritage Seed Market, they say Cheeseman's Galapagos was the name on my seed packet, which I got from a friend in Canada who bought them from a U.S. vendor. The appearance is a bit like banana currant, but the flavor is strong. Ooh, I didn't see that part. In fact, after I had a nibble, I didn't want to put the whole thing in my mouth. Scary intense flavor. I just copied and pasted this for my spreadsheet, so I didn't realize this when I said I was going to taste. Okay, well, we'll see. Scary intense flavor. That could be good or bad. Makes your mouth drool all over the place. All right, I'm prepared. I got my water. Assertively tomatoey. You can taste it still strongly for a while after you swallow. Matt's Wild Cherry has an intense punch with maybe a bit more sweetness to it. This is a little pickle fork in my, this is from a picture they shared. Okay. Was not prepared for that. Funny how I can surprise myself by not reading the material I'm going to share. So here's the biggest, probably ripest one. They're all around this size, but this was the most ripe one. It's really pretty gold, kind of an elongated cherry. Scary intense. I want to use the refractometer to get a sweetness Brix rating. We'll see. I would say, yes, you can grow it indoors. It's a larger, like a mini dwarf, but all right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the inside. There's the inside. Looks pretty harmless. But is it? It smells tomatoey. Let me put the juice on the refractometer to start. It's such fun doing this. All right. That's got to take 30 seconds. So here we go. I don't know what they're talking about. Scary, intense flavor. That's good. What are they saying? Now, sometimes that's sorry, Heritage. Oh no, I'm thinking of HR Seeds. No, Heritage Seed Market. It says Cheeseman's Galapagos was the name on my seed packet. It's almost like they're not sure. That's really good. I would even go so far as delicious. That is delicious. Let's see what it's got. Sweet and a little tart, really full flavor. Intense, but not overpoweringly so. Yes, I can still taste it. It's delicious. All right, let me take a look at this in the light. That's about an 8 on the brick scale, which is really good. It seems like a lot of micros hover in like 5, 6, the tasteless ones, and then the good ones are like 8 and 9, I would say, are my favorite ones. So big thumbs up for Cheeseman's Galapagos, and Hell, if you're watching, or Hele, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. She's also the breeder of Carrot Mini, which I did I do a video review on it? I did a review in the group. Sometimes the plants get away from me. By that time, like I can't show the plant on the video, and just time restricts me from doing a lot of videos. Carrot Mini was also a very good one. They split, but they were good. Yeah, Cheeseman's Galapagos. I really like that. I would give it an 8 out of 10. That's very, very good. All right, and then I wanted to give you an update too. Oh, I forgot I had those to show also. So those of you that are following along with my B times Macbeth growing out and waiting, I know many of you are anxiously waiting for seeds. This is the slowest ripening tomato variety I think I've ever seen. I've got 2 plants. There was one that was a couple weeks later than the original because they took forever to germinate. This is the one that is a few weeks behind, but let me tell you, there's no signs of ripening from the other one either, or for the older one rather. I keep feeling like it's got to be every day or any day, but I'm not seeing anything. I know it's considered a micro and a long keeper. It's also a long ripener because it's not. Let me show you what it looks like. It's got lots of fruit. You can see that the fruit, I don't know if you can see, if I can get any closer, they're very interesting shapes. Not necessarily uniform, not necessarily round, no real uniform shape to it. Super neat. Lots of fruit and flowers. But alas, no ripe fruit yet. So I will, believe you me, I will be letting everybody know when I get my first ripe fruit. So that's that. And I'm growing another few not well-known micros that I wanted to show you today. Nothing else to taste today. The first one is, this is a variety I got from Tomato Faifu out of Belgium. And this is called Florino. This I've had growing, let's see, I started this March 5th. So it's really cute and compact, lots of flowers on it. Looks like it's pretty much staying this height. Yeah, really adorable. And I believe those are going to be red cherries. And then this is one I got that I haven't seen for sale anywhere, but I got these from my vendor friend Sabine from Vienna Seeds. She's not selling it yet, but she is growing it. This one's called, and I don't know the correct pronunciation, so I'm just going to put it on the screen. I want to say Suber Louise, but I don't know what sound that bee looking thing is. So I know it's not Super Louise, but Super Louise. So similar to Florino, this I started March 13th. Really healthy, compact plant, getting lots of flowers on it. Super excited for that. I think Sabine shared a photo in our group just yesterday, I think, where hers are getting fruit now. So we did a bit of a trade a couple months ago. She wanted a couple things of mine, and she shared with me her list, and there were some micros on there that I've never heard of, and I'm like, oh, me please, me please. So that's Super Louise, or whatever the pronunciation is. All right, let's get back to some comments, and then I think that's all I need to talk about until we dive into my 10 of the week. Let's see. Oh, Jen, you saw it. Oh, yes, I saw it and made my day to know Malachita Vayashkatulka Black exists. Thank you, Ramonte. Well, we're just going to have to go right into it then. That is my number one. Malachita Vayashkatulka Black exists. I shared in my post about Jarson 16 yesterday. I didn't think it was big news that my number one favorite tomato is Malachite box, or Malachita Vayashkatulka, which is a green when ripe. And I'm trying all kinds of things this year that have that cross in it. Jarson's I love because he uses a lot of, it's also known as Malachite box. He uses a lot of Malachite box in his crosses. So Ramonte saw that this morning, and she said something about, I need to send you seeds for Malachite box black. And I was like, what? You've got to be kidding me. Like, this is the biggest tomato news I've had in a long time. So here's what she says about it. She said, it's possible that a spontaneous mutation occurred in the Malachite box. The green color gene changed, causing the chlorophyll to degenerate and the tomato to ripen to brown with green shoulders. Kind of looks like Cherokee purple in a way. Beautiful, beautiful. I will be, whenever you have seeds available, I would love to do a trade with you. And guys, please don't hit Ramonte up for seeds. In fact, whenever I don't like to usually say where I get seeds from. I know it's our knee-jerk reaction to want to approach somebody. If you see something on my show and you want it, just put it in Seed Seeking Saturday or in our Most Wanted, because we don't want people to be put on the spot if I happen to mention their name, that the seeds came from there. But you can believe that when these come out into rotation, I will be growing it at the first possible moment, which would hopefully be next year. So thank you, Ramonte, for making my day, and Malachite Jen too. And I know a lot of people I think a lot of people are growing Malachite box for the first time this year because I can't shut up about it. So if it has that flavor, and paired with dark in it too, oh, can't wait. Malachite box black. Yes. Absolutely. All right, I'm behind in comments. Let's get back to some other things. The T-post setup looks awesome. Thank you. Yeah, he worked hard on that. I'm really excited. I feel like I saw Kim London here somewhere. Did I skip over you, Kim? Oh, and Kelly, I missed you. Hi, Kelly. Glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Oh, and Olivia, missed you. Hello. Missy says, I gave my dentist a micro tomato. She was stunned. She's a true farmer, but she had never seen a micro. They are pretty amazing, right? They really are. I forgot to mention, I've been so busy that I haven't even put up an announcement, but as of 3 days ago, Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap hit 4,000 members officially. Sometimes in the group, it'll say, like, they round up, Facebook does. So it has said, I think 4K for maybe a week or so, but we officially hit 4,000 members a few days ago. So thank you all for joining, and hope you're having as great of a time as Kina, Jen, and I are in running the group. Oh, Heidi, so sad. My tree was beautiful. I know. So sad. But circle of life, I suppose, right? I thought I saw Kim. Maybe. Oh, there she is. Hey, Kim. Glad you're here. What was that borage called again? It's somebody's name. Archer. Bill Archer or borage. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, you know where I found it? Dea Flora, Bill Archer borage seeds. I'm not sure if Woodland Creations has it in stock. We can check there too. It's so beautiful. And I've grown borage for several years now. I did not know there was a variegated one. Come on. Oh, okay. Now it makes sense. Let me show this. This kind of explains a bit of the rabbit hole that I went down to find Keith's Ailsa Goldleaf because Hayfield has the Bill Archer borage. Let me show you. Hayfield's the vendor I showed about a couple minutes ago that has the Keith's Ailsa Goldleaf. So I must have been looking at Bill Archer borage, and because not a lot of places have it, I've looked and then found their tomato, because whenever I'm on a new seed site, I always have to look at their tomatoes. So yes, Bill Archer borage. Hayfield has it for, what is it, $4.85. Oh no, they're out of stock. All right, let's find. I'm pretty sure I saw Dea Flora has it also. And we should check Woodland Creations too, our friends there. I think I did check Bill Archer borage. Oh, I'm on Dea Flora. I wonder who Bill Archer is. Here it is. Really pretty. Looks like it's got purple flowers. I'm not at the flower stage yet, but the I'll try to take a picture to show you guys next week. The leaves are just outstanding. Really, really beautiful. In fact, even more outstanding than this picture shows. And borage is something that it's kind of an herb, kind of a flower. It is edible, although I never eat it. It says tastes just like its green-leaved relatives. So it's a really pretty flower, and they say it keeps away hornworms. That's been my experience anyway, unless it's just a coincidence. But I would think that we've had them in the past, so I don't know. But that's Bill Archer borage. Jen, I'm just loving all these pictures. I must see your garden in person. Yes, you must. Teresa, got my borage growing now, thanks to you, Lauren. Yay! I'm so glad. It takes like a week to germinate because I just started more, and it does take a little while to germinate. Have you guys heard of an herb called Alexander's or Alisander? I had gotten seeds again from Dea Flora. It sounded interesting. Let me see if I can find it. I had never heard of it. All right, let me show you. This is it, Alisander, but I've seen it in the United States called Alexander's. Here's what it says. Tastes strongly of parsley and celery. It's an herb and vegetable plant from the Mediterranean region. The roots, leaves, and young shoots have been eaten as salad or vegetable since the Middle Ages. Leaves are good herb for soup. They round off the taste like celery or lovage. I grew lovage for the first time last year. Really liked it. Wasn't going to do it this year, though, and it came back up. So now I'm doing lovage again. Hearty dishes become heartier because we are talking about umami taste here. Leaves fried in beer batter. That sounds good. Anyway, I bring that up because I planted these, and I know I sent you some seeds to Luke. They're big. They're actually similar to borage seeds. They're They're big, like a little bigger than like a cilantro or coriander seed, and could not get it to germinate. It had been 6 weeks. Guess what popped up yesterday? I got one Alisanders, so I don't know how long it takes to grow this stuff, but I'm excited that it germinated. So, all right, I'm going far back on comments here. Deb says, Lauren, because of you, this was the first year I treated my tomato seedlings plants to healthy shakes of mycorrhizal fungi. When up potting, when planting out, I swear it's magic, game changer. So glad you think so too. Last year was my first year doing it. And I do the same. I do it when I up pot and then again rub the roots with it with planting, and it's really fantastic. Plus, in our raised beds, we get the mushroom compost, which is really really a game changer too. But I know not everybody has access to mushroom compost. So, but yeah, mycorrhizal fungi, a little bit expensive, but worth it in the health department for sure. You're right. 8 is good for a micro and a yellow. You're so right. I'm not normally a fan of yellow tomatoes to begin with. Micro yellows tend to be very tasteless. Although Gigi's Glory Multiflora was really good. This was delicious. That description scared me, but also intrigued me. You know, like so intense. I'm picturing my like having to pucker, and not my experience at all. This tomato has really that flavor. Oh, about the malachite box. Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. You blew my mind, my friend. Going to check how many seeds I have left of Malachitavaya Shkatulka Black. You better hide them. I'm coming for them. No, seriously. Thank you for being a good friend and for bringing these things to my attention. Satya, thank you. Like and subscribe. If you guys can subscribe to my channel and like this post, that would be awesome sauce. Linda says 4,000 members. How awesome sauce is that? It is awesome sauce. And the group hasn't even existed a year yet. I think next month, like middle of next month, will be a year for us. So 4,000 people who love growing tomatoes, or at least learning about growing tomatoes. It's pretty amazing. Rowena says, so happy that the group keeps growing. Best group ever. Thanks, Rowena. You were definitely an early one to the party with TLC. I remember you coming in. I already hit her up. No shame. I will trade anything, even my firstborn. Me too. Me too. My firstborn's pretty old, and she's on a cruise ship, Disney cruise ship at the moment. But you can have her. I want the Malachite Box Black. Riverdale Gardens. My Beau Mango, Banana Noir, and Jarson 1 are growing strong in the garden. Thanks, Lauren. You're so welcome. Beau Mango is like a celebrity in our group, and that's thanks to Malachite Jen. She found it on oh shoot, what's the site? San Diego Seed Company. They did like a taste off last year of this variety that nobody had ever heard of before. Jen brought it to my attention and said, you know, we've got to look out for this when they start selling it in the fall. And I did. I ordered it, and I ordered many packs and gave many away as prizes. But I know many of you also ordered or got seeds. So can't wait for if anybody's tasted it yet or is really close, let us know. Drew Black, do you start all your tomato seeds in the solo cup method, fill in the pot? Yes, I do. Although I did some in solo cups, but there's a new pot out by Bootstrap Farmer this year. It's a 3.3 by 3.3 inch pot, and the capacity is exactly the same as solo cup. And they've got an insert for 10 by 20 tray, and you can fit, what is it, 15? Or is it 18? I don't know, but it was a bit of an investment. But unlike solo cups that can be really top heavy, this wasn't, and having the insert kept things from blowing around. But yes, I start them all in there with Fox Farm Ocean Forest soil, have the soil halfway down, start the seed there. And as it grows, I continually add soil up to the top. And then once it outgrows, then I split them if two have germinated. Once they've outgrown that, I put them in those tall seedling grow bags. Definitely a game changer for me. Malin says, my first year growing Malachita shkatulka. I feel sorry for myself not to pronounce this. I butcher very badly. Well, so do I. Alex from Lucky Garden told me I wasn't pronouncing it right. So you guys all seem impressed, but don't be, because apparently I don't pronounce it. It's got to be close though, right? When Jen and I interviewed him, he kind of chuckled at me thinking I was all that. But I don't remember what he said the correct one is. So I'm just going to keep going with Malachita Vayashkadulka. Haley's here. Hi, Haley. Fashionably late, but excited I made it. Me too. And Ashley agrees. Bow mango is a large, hardy, handsome plant. No ripe tomatoes yet, but so many loaded on the plant. Thank you, Lauren. You're welcome. Yeah, my bow mango plant is doing great too. And it's funny, I feel like it started off a little bit wimpy, but now it's really one of my healthy. They're all healthy, to be honest with you. There's only a few that I'm like, huh. But yeah, bow mango is really a superstar for sure. Lovage is a perennial. It gets huge. Mine is 8 feet tall and 3 feet wide. Wow. I did not. Well, now I know it's a perennial. I put it in my green stalk last year. And I had one pocket for the Chinese pink celery, which I'm growing again this year, and one for lovage. And it did great. And then was just, getting rid of the old soil and amending putting new soil in to plant for this year's green stalk. And what do you know? Not only was there one lovage plant, there were two. So I separated them out. I kept one. I did not know they got 8 feet tall, though. That's interesting. That is interesting. Lashandra says, yes, I heard bootstrap is worth the investment. It is. Do I have any down here? Let me show you real quick. Hang on. All right. I did have one handy. So I'm growing some micros in here. So these are the pots. It's deceiving. You would think that a solo cup holds more, but I did an experiment because that's what I do. And they hold the exact same amount of volume. So I did them in here, and they offer these great inserts. So with the solo cups being as they were, they didn't have inserts for the 10 by 20 tray. I could squeeze maybe 14, but that's pushing it. So here we've got 3. There's 18 plants can fit in here. So that's several more than solo cups. And these things are heavy duty, like they will last for years. I have other Bootstrap Farmer products that have lasted for years. So yeah, worth the investment for sure. Absolutely. All right. Don't my micros look? Our micros are just the cutest. They just are. Okay. I digress. So we've talked about one of my obsessions of this week so far. Let's get to the next one. This one I got from a very generous member. So I've made it well known that I have yet to find a red that knocks my socks off with that intense flavor. And many of you have sent me seeds thinking this is it. This is the one. And I'm growing many of them this year. So I'm super excited to see. I will never give up. This member sent me these saying that this may be the red one that you're looking for. This is a member who is quite often giving me stuff from my wish list. And I know my wish list is a bit crazy, not easy to find things. So I'll just say his name because no, I'm not going to say his name. That's rude. He's just, if you're watching, you know who you are. Thank you very much. So this is called Gross de Pertheus. let's see, from Tomato Faifu says it's an old variety originating from France, historically cultivated in the department of Vaucluse. Large red fruit from 200 to 600 grams, beefsteak type, slightly flattened, ribs in the upper part, and with wavy or even curved shoulders. Firm and fleshy beef with an excellent rich and sweet flavor. Plant with great development, regular foliage, indeterminate growth, good and regular harvests from mid-season. Really pretty. I've got to say, though, the interior of that picture, it looks a bit anemic to me. Am I wrong? The tomato itself. But sometimes I also notice that people don't always wait for full ripening to take a picture. So I've noticed that. But I will go on record saying this: I would much rather have an undoctored photo showing the truth. It is such a huge pet peeve of mine when people use filters on their tomatoes. There's one vendor in particular I will never order from, because actually there's two I can think of. One I have never ordered from, one I have, but one is basically just tomatoes. And I swear she just wants to make her tomatoes look Instagram worthy. And I think that's lousy. You know, Ananas Noir is a beautiful tomato. You don't need filters on Ananas Noir to make it look like some neon version of what it really is. It's beautiful. I was looking actually at I've Bill Yoder's Prince series. I tasted them last week. Little Red Corvette, 1999, and Raspberry Beret. I have them all in a little bowl on my counter right now. I stare at those things and say, you don't even need a filter for these things. Though and if you guys follow along with his Facebook page and his new Duran Duran line that he's coming out with, how that man gets these colors is beyond me. His stuff is Instagram worthy without filters. But anyway, I digress. But if that's the real interior, maybe it tastes good, maybe it's not ripe yet, but don't doctor the photos. Huge pet peeve of mine. Do you guys feel the same? I bet you do. Oh, Kina, there she is. I so agree. No filter or Photoshop. You know the vendor I'm talking about, Kina. I can't stand that. Ugh. No filter or Photoshop. Oh, hi, Kathy. There's my Kathy. Heidi, I love the solo cups, but I had more on the floor than anywhere else. Yeah, we were just talking about this yesterday, weren't we? They just blow over. And once I start hardening them off outside, I could put them in the tray, and, one wind and they're gone. So those inserts are just great. You can squeeze a solo cup or two in between these if you wanted to, like, invest periodically. And I'm saying this, I know Bootstrap Farmer is not available all over the world. It's a United States company, and I believe there's one vendor in Canada. So I apologize for assuming that everybody has access to these. They do not. But you can squeeze a few solo cups in between these if you want to invest slowly. So I just got these little guys for stuff I'm giving away. I don't ever give plants away in the Bootstrap. No way, Jose. But who is this? Oh, this is Sheen. I shared last week about Cindy C's Sheen, this tiny little micro that she's bred, and mine came out like an ochre color. So I've got like 3 more plants that I just started from that, and I'm sending her seeds because she doesn't have the seeds for the ochre version. Oh, and Kina. Where's the best one? This is one that Kina sent me seeds a long time ago. I could not get them to germinate. These are called Chernichka or blueberry. Couldn't get to germinate, and then they would germinate, and then they would die. I have 3. I thought there was a bigger one. No, not really. That's the biggest one. Nice, healthy plant. So thank you, Kina, for Chernichka and blueberry. And I've got a whole bunch of tiny totems started here. And I've restarted some of Bill Yoder's. It's 1999 because I want to grow them indoors. Here's little red and black. Didn't know you were going to get a look at my tray, did you? And this is a sucker of Beet Times Macbeth. I keep taking suckers to make more plants so I can get more seeds to share. Guess it's everything in here. And I've got one of these trays filled with my F2s of my micro, drop the micro. But who knows, F2s may come out to be like 10 different tomatoes. I can't call them all drop the micro, so we shall see. All right, so that is Gross de Pertheus. Has anybody grown this? Bill Yoder's the best. He is. He is. He's a very, very talented breeder. Drew Black. I never thought they would enhance their photos. Good to know. So many don't. I'm not trying to badmouth every vendor because so many don't. I don't believe Tomato Faifu does. I use their photos a lot. Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia. Ooh. One should never filter a tomato, the heresy. Agreed. It's just awful. It's just awful. I want to see what the tomato's really going to look like. I mean, it really is heresy. You're right. You got me paying attention to it after that. Vendor, that's the vendor I'm talking about, Brianne. I forgot we had a conversation about that. Yeah. Oh, now I'm being a jerk because everybody's going to want to know what the vendor is. It's not a real well-known one, but I think they're pretty big on Instagram. I wouldn't know how to use a filter or Photoshop. Tomatoes are so beautiful that you don't need one. I mean, even my beloved malachite box, it's a pretty tomato. It's green. It's got a little bit of a yellowish tint when they turn ripe. It doesn't knock your socks off, but it doesn't need a filter. It doesn't. And when you taste it, am I right? Ramonte, malachite Jen, am I right? That is just the most sublime flavor. Of course, taste is subjective. It's the most sublime flavor to me. Kina. Yep. I want to see it as it is. Agreed. You're welcome, Drew. I'm glad I could go down the rabbit hole of Bootstrap Farmer with you. We had kind of a gift that happened. This was going back a couple months ago. Zoya, who's in the group, she was messaging me privately about the new Bootstrap Farmer pots. I didn't know there were new ones. I thought she was talking about there's 2x2 ones. Yeah, like this 2x2 that I start a lot of micros in. And then there's 5-inch pots, which I got last year that are much bigger. So I thought she was talking about the 2x2, and she's like, no, there's these new like 3.3 by 3.3. And I was like, what? So I went on their site, looked at them, ordered some, did my little experiment game changer, shared about the game changer in the group. Deb, who's watching with us today, Deb was on their site ordering, and she's like, yeah, I think there's a mistake here. They're advertising like, I think it wasn't it like 180 pots and inserts for, it was like $50, maybe $60. Clearly a mistake, because 180 of them was cheaper than like 30 of them or something like that. So yeah, it was a mistake that many of us got a chance to order a lot of pots from, that they end up catching later in the day. But yeah, so many of us are able to get a lot of Bootstrap Farmer pots. Anthony, rookie question, but do you grow micro or dwarfs over winter? I watched a past tomato tasting from Jen's channel earlier, and she mentioned the tomato didn't taste as good till summer. I do. I grow micros indoors all year round. That's one of the beauties of micro dwarfs, I believe. And in the group, I think you're new to the group, Anthony, but we did our very first, we called it Micropalooza. That started last November, that this year we're going to start a few months earlier. I'm thinking, I have to talk to Kina and Jen, but I'm thinking we start September instead of November. That way we can have ripe tomatoes in January. Do they taste better when they're outside? Yes, they do. That doesn't mean that they're tasteless. It really depends on the variety. I've got a Vilma plant that I've been growing for 2 years that gives me the most tasty tomatoes. Candy Berry I grew over last winter. It was phenomenal. Henry Harrington's. never saw the light of day outdoors. Fantastic. So, yes, real sun will sweeten things up a bit, but don't think that micros are not worth growing indoors because that's not true at all. You just have to know which ones to grow, and that's what I hope my reviews provide. There's a lot of tasteless ones, but there's also some really exciting new ones coming out all the time, and people have kind of caught on that this isn't just a novelty. You know, they make great little gifts like Orange Hat with Baker Creek. Horrible tasting tomato. Just ugh, one of the worst out there, I think. Bland and not very good, but that's the only one they sell. And they make a great gift for somebody instead of flowers. What a cute gift. But many of us true tomato heads, we want to taste a real tomato in the middle of winter. And so I don't want just a novelty. I want something that tastes good. That Cheeseman's Galapagos is definitely one I will be growing again for sure. Um, so I hope that answers your question that yes, it will probably taste better in the summertime. I grew a Vilma outside last year. I'm not sure that the taste was all that different, to be honest with you, but the sun versus artificial light, it will definitely make them taste better. However, there's been some phenomenal ones I've tasted indoors. So I could talk about micros all day, and I do sometimes. um, oh, hi, Lynn. Glad you're here. Glad to catch part of it. Glad you're here too. Deb, yes, it was 180 orange pots. That's right. It was only the orange ones for 54 bucks. Woot woot. Yeah, I felt a bit guilty telling people in the group, but like they went through 2 batches too. So there was like a first batch and they sold out. They had maybe, I don't know, 10. They sold out and I'm like, "All right, well, they're gonna fix the mistake now," and I'm sure they're bummed. They didn't. They released a second batch in the afternoon, same thing. So if you see a lot of pictures of orange pots, you know why. Yes, it was a great deal, that Deb told us about that many of us got to take advantage of. Kelly, I recently potted my Micropalooza Moment micro outdoors, and it has come back with a vengeance. That's another great thing about outdoors. I've had a few that really needed to be up potted that I didn't, but even my 2-year-old Vilma, she was looking a little haggard and stuff. You stick her outdoors and she perks up. However, that can also go on the flip side that sometimes when it's outdoors, it's more susceptible to disease. Chances of cross-pollinating if you wanna change, switch seeds, save seeds, especially if they're all grouped together, could be stronger. It's probably still unlikely, but could be stronger. But, yeah, so plants can definitely be lost to disease where I don't have that too much indoors. Um Sometimes fungus gnats will get to it, but not really disease. So, all right. So that's tomato number 2, and we're over an hour. Let's go to number 3. Ah, so speaking of Deb, so when I got to meet her in New Hampshire a few weeks ago, we exchanged lists of leftover plants we each had. I didn't need any. I really just needed to get rid of some of my really exciting ones that I want to give to people who appreciate it. So I got to see Jen, I got to meet Cynthia Floyd, got to meet Heidi, and I got to meet Deb all within the span of 1 week. So we're switching off like tomato plants to people who really care. So I wanted to give Deb a couple tomato plants that I had, and she shows up with a couple that were fantastic that I could not say no to. And Deb, as it turns out, we found spots for them. So the first one is called Arrows of Cupid or Amour Arrow. Can't find much on this variety. I even asked Ramonte and she didn't know anything about it. This looks fantastic. I've seen it on two different sites. Where's the first site? I don't remember. Um, let me look at the link. Hang on. Sadost.ru. Let me pull this up. So it's a Russian site. Let me pull up the listing here. Here it is. Arrow of Amour or Arrow of Cupid. Indeterminate, tall, 1.8 to 2 meters, early ripening with good yield. The fruits are flat, round, weighing 150 to 250 grams, olive colored with pink blush and barely noticeable stripes. Pulp is olive with a pink tint, very tasty, juicy with nutmeg notes, suitable for canning, juice, and salad. Rare variety, exotic. Beautiful, huh? Absolutely beautiful. So she comes to me with this tray of plants, and we're kind of doing like, you want this one, you can take this one, blah blah, like a card game. And so I'm looking these things up as she's showing me these beautiful, healthy plants that she brought up with her, and it's like I couldn't say no. I was like a drug addict, except it's with tomatoes. I couldn't say no. Rob and Jake were sitting there with us and just laughing because Rob's like, I don't know where we're going to fit more. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll take that, Deb. I'll take that. So this is Arrows of Cupid. Thank you, Deb, for this. Michael says this looks juicy. Kelly, awesome color. I agree. Cynthia, Arrows of Cupid. I know. Wow, that's pretty, says Licia. That's the other site, Haley. Thank you. It's on Tomato Eden. Looks a bit different on Tomato Eden. Let me show you what it looks like. Excuse me. I knew the photos looked familiar. It was you'd think I would know since I'm like a Tomato Eden addict. Arrows. Here it is. I'm guessing, Deb, that you probably got it from Tomato Eden. Hang on, let me get this off. Present, share screen. Here it is. So this is what it looks like from Tomato Eden. Kind of interesting, the difference, isn't it? Ukrainian breeder Ruslan Dukov, 2019. How did I not come across this when I was doing research? Silly me. So yeah, the colors look different. Either way, they look phenomenal. I'll tell you that. That's my kind of tomato. So yeah, somehow I missed the Tomato Eden part, but I don't know how because I have their pictures in my spreadsheet. So go figure. But that's Arrows of Cupid. Ruslan, where'd it go? Ruslan Dukov, 2019, Ukrainian breeder. Pulp is olive with a pink tint, very tasty, juicy with nutmeg notes. Which is exactly what that other site said. I swear they all borrow descriptions. But then again, one of them may have gotten from the other originally, so that's okay. Just don't filter my photos. Don't like that. Oh, Kina says Tomato Eden has that one. I'm sure I got it from there. Yeah, likely. I don't know how I don't have it from there. Or if I do, I hadn't logged it yet. Deb, so my pleasure to share with you. Thank you. It was a pleasure to share with you too. Drop the Micro is the best name ever. Thank you. I don't know how I came up with the idea because normally you don't name your new variety in the F1 series because you just don't know what it's going to come out and how many may come out of the same line. I may have 10 different ones I want to release from that, but one of them is going to be called Drop the Micro because I just thought it was clever and I wanted to take it before anybody else did. So that's Arrows of Cupid. Oh, Lynn, you're growing Arrows of Cupid? Cool beans. Me too. Thanks to Deb. Oh, Kathy, a greenhouse closed up last fall. Last week they had a sale selling pots and trays and I got some wicked deals. That's awesome sauce. Heidi came over yesterday. I mentioned to Heidi Jories to come pick up the very last of my plants, some of my sucker plants that I was having a hard time parting with. And she was at Home Depot, the very same Home Depot I was at a few hours later. And I should have brought it in. She brought me this huge, looks like, no, it's bigger than 10 by 20, but it's got these massive holes in it that she thought 1-gallon pots could fit in. And she asked them if they were selling it. And they said, you can have it. And she snagged it and brought it over to me. So thank you, Heidi. Good trade. Need that photo on my fridge. I agree. The shape is different too, isn't it, Cynthia? Yeah, so I'll be let's pull up the other one again. Here's pull up the main one. There's one. And there's the other. Not really seeing the top of it in this one. Almost makes me think that this one is very ripe and perhaps this one isn't quite ripe, but I don't know. The description talking about it says barely noticeable stripes. Pulp is olive with a pink tint. It could also be the lighting, because the description I'm taking from is from these photos I'm showing now. And olive with a pink tint, I guess that could be considered that. I don't know. I guess we will see, some of us. That can't be right. The Tomato Eden one you're thinking, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think so too. We'll see. Let's all compare notes after this growing season. Every time I think maybe Malachite box isn't as good as I remember, I taste it again and it never fails to impress me. Completely agree. Completely agree. And Jen, I know the more years that you and I know each other, and we have started growing some really outstanding varieties. I always have to grow Malachite because I want to be able to compare and say, is this really as good as Malachite box? I don't repeat many, and but that one I've repeated only one plant this year though, which is a little nerve wracking, but it really is as good as you remember, or as good as I remember for sure. I agree. It's outstanding. Doesn't look like much, but don't be deceived. All right, so that's Arrows of Cupid, and then I think my very next one is another Deb Two Thicker one. Alchemist. Look at this baby. Ooh, that's a Lauren tomato if I ever saw one. This is I got this information from organicseeds.top. Mid-season indeterminate variety. Fruits are round, flattened, striped, weighing 200 to 400 grams, moderately fleshy and juicy, buttery pulp, sweet taste, suitable for salads, tomato juice sauces, and tomato processing. That is just a gorgeous tomato. Really gorgeous. Anybody grow this yet or is growing it this year? I gladly put it in my garden. This picture to the right of that interior really looks phenomenal. Wow, says Licia. Brianna, oh, come on. I know, sorry. I know, just when you think you've got all the good ones, then you find out there's more. That's what I was like when Deb came knocking on my door in New Hampshire when we were visiting with this tray. And I'm like, nope, not going to take any, not going to take any. I'm like, all right, I'll take that. I'll take that. Also, Indian Reservation is another one she gave me. Trying to think of the other ones. They all got planted, though. Couple peppers too. I'm drawing a blank, but yeah, Alchemist looks incredible. Rowena Alchemist definitely looks wow. I know. It's one of those you can just like taste the flavor right through the computer there, right? These three tomatoes just blow me away. I know, I feel like every week, like, what am I going to talk about this week? There's not going to be anything as good as the last couple weeks, but somehow they just keep appearing. Luke says, beautiful. I agree. Kathy, this one is going on my wish list. Such a beauty. It is. It is. Kina, that goes right to the 2025 list. That's a Kina too, for sure. Kina and I definitely have the same taste in tomatoes. Mama EC says Alchemist, so pretty. I guess nobody's grown it yet. I don't know if I found, it was just that one site I found it on, organicseeds.top. Let me see if I can find anything else out. Alchemist tomato seeds. Nope. Nope, that's it. Just that one. Let me show you guys the listing. In fact, I'll put the listing in the chat so you can see it yourself. This is the listing on organicseeds.top. Deb, is this where you got these seeds from? I know there's a Ukrainian vendor that many of us have ordered from. I have not yet. Alexei, I think his name is. Some of these may have been from him. Yeah, this is really it's from the Ukraine. Doesn't say much else other than what I shared with you. Yeah, that's all I know. Other than it looks phenomenal. Phenomenal, and I cannot wait. It's looking really good too, Deb, the plant. Thank you so much. Cynthia says, I don't know if I got seeds for this or just had it on my wish list. I love seeing wish lists go up after my show on Saturday because I tend to see a lot of the varieties I showcase, which makes me feel good and know that I'm showing stuff that you guys are interested in. Deb, I planted all yours too. I'm super excited for all. I'm trying to remember what I gave you. Oh, you got Alchemist from Tomato Eden. How is she not coming up then? Let's take a look. I mean, our girl here has everything. Alchemist. Oops. There it is. All right, let me show you guys. Here it is. Alchemist. What does she say? Sometimes she doesn't have much for a description. She does everything herself, and she's quite busy. She says mid-season bush height 1.5 to 1.7, productive variety, fruit weight 100 to 300 grams, delicious. Pretty. Really pretty interior on that. Yeah, excited. So let me put the link for this one in the chat so you guys can take a look and order if you want. So anyway, back to what did I give you, Deb? I remember I gave you Carl's Emslandtraube, which mine are very slow growing. I don't know how yours is doing. And I know, Jen, you got seeds too. They took forever to germinate, which the grandson did tell me would. But man, they're growing really slowly. Healthy, but slowly. What else did I give you? I don't remember. You'll have to let me know. Oh, here we go. You gave me Liz Burt, Banana Noir, Suffer Well, Shake the Disease, Pixie Fire, Carl's Emslandtraube, and a couple of micros. Henry Harrington and Bee Times, I hope, right? Yeah, Liz Burt sounds really good. I'm excited for that. I have Liz Burt right next to Lloyd E. Fry. So Liz and Lloyd are like having a little thing going on in their bed. They're in bed together. Banana Noir, Suffer Well, Shake the Disease, or Bill Yoder's Depeche Mode ones. Pixie Fires from Terra Nova Farms. That one's growing like crazy for me. A couple of micros. My Carl's Emslandtraube is growing like crazy. Well, I'm glad for you. That's awesome. Maybe, where's my plant? Mine's in Cherry Row, in Death Row. But I actually have two plants. So I've got the smaller one in a grow. Well, I've got them both in grow bags because they're in Cherry Row. So we shall see. I've got high hopes for it. I'm really, really wanting to grow that just for the history of that variety. That was on my very first 2024 grow list video. Really exciting. Yeah, Liz and Lloyd are in bed together. They seem to be getting along just fine. They're growing and kind of flirting with each other. I'm sure they'll be all over each other in no time. Okay, so that's Alchemist. Next one is one I got from Graf Samina, but I've heard of this from other sites. Female Caprice or Women's Caprice. I've seen it as. This is another Alafirov variety. I feel like every week I'm always showcasing at least one of his varieties. He's a breeder from Kazakhstan. That magician one I showed earlier, the nice looking heart-shaped fruits in my garden there, that's from him. I'm also growing Alafirov Secret. Um, what else? This Seven Rivers Tricolor, I believe is his. Is Eastside Crystal one of his? I think it might be. He's really hot all of a sudden, at least in my world. Um, they are. So this is one of his. What does it say about it? There's a couple of female caprice ones. One is a chocolate. Now I'm trying to remember what the website said. One's a chocolate and one's a regular, maybe. This, I don't know. If you go on Grafsamina, it says a variety from the collection of the remarkable breeder Vitaly Geniadevich Alafirov from Kazakhstan. Oh, here it is. This variety produced 2 lines, chocolate and purple. The first early chocolate glossy giant, insanely beautiful, rich brown chocolate shade, and also a perfect matte glossy surface. The bush is powerful, 1.8 meters in height, knits well. Not sure what knits well means. Knits well. That must have something to do with trellising, maybe? Or vines well, grows well. There are 3 to 4 fruits weighing 500 to 700 grams in a cluster. The shape is flattened. The largest fruits can curl around the stalk in the shape of a boat. Bast shoe. All right, this is when translations don't necessarily work to our benefit, but I'm grateful there is a translation. In cross section, the pulp is chocolate red with small seed chambers and green gel. It is very juicy, sweet and sour. The taste is rich and rich. Rich and rich. Overall, very rich and memorable. When fully ripe, a light, smoky aroma is felt. A taste for lovers of rich tomato flavors from childhood, delicious and beautiful. Sign me up. Sign me up. I've seen this listed on other sites too. I got seeds from Grafsamina. She is great at descriptions and photos and just giving every piece of information you could ever want on a variety. Oh, Luke wants to know if Liz and Lloyd will cross. Maybe. Guess we'd never know. They're both reds, but that their paths will cross. I will tell you that. Hopefully, they stay in their little lane and keep their hands off of each other. Francis, hi Francis. Just a heads up, Burpee Online has their seeds 50% off today. I picked up a long keeper and lots of lettuce varieties today. Thank you, Francis. That's really good to know. Really good to know. Burpee Online. I'll have to take a look after this episode for sure. Cynthia says delicious. Brianna says, I may try copper tape if the slugs get any ideas about my tomatoes. You guys having slug problems? I see somebody. Oh, Cynthia, the snail invasion has been real this year, all this rain. Yeah, rain does cause that, doesn't it? I haven't seemed to have a problem with that yet. But we haven't had a whole lot of rain yet. We had some last night, but other than that, it has been a pretty dry week here. South Louisiana. Oh, nice. Yeah, this one, that interior looks really phenomenal. So female caprice or women's caprice. All right, this next one I've had for a long time. Well, less than a year, but I've had it for quite a while. And just hadn't. I have a stack over here next to me on my desk that of seeds that I haven't logged yet. And so it just sits there and I won't put it away in my binders until I log it. But those of you that have seen my spreadsheet, you know that logging it is a bit of a chore because I log everything in it. But I got this from Secret Seed Cartel. This is Marmande Verte from France. Really pretty green when ripe, which are some of my favorites. The Secret Seed Cartel says this is a rare mutation from a red French heirloom Marmande tomato. It is a green when ripe that usually weighs in around 12 ounces. I obtained seeds originally from a French grower. This is Secret Seed Cartel talking. I rate the taste in my top 3 for greens. Adds beautiful color to a tomato platter and makes a sweet green ketchup. Thick flesh and mild sweet flavor. Fully ripe, they get a slight yellow tinge to the skin, which tends to be typical with a lot of green when ripe. You can see that the photo to the right is from Secret. Is it? I think so. The photo to the right is from Secret Seed Cartel. The one to the left is from Vertiloom. Vertiloom. Oh, Secret Seed Cartel also says this was the very first green when ripe tomato we ever grew. French origin. So I have US and France as origin. I'll explain why in a minute. So they say Secret Seed Cartel says French origin. And then Vertiloom says recent variety that resulted from a spontaneous mutation of or a desired crossing. Appeared for the first time in the United States, found in the classic Marmande. The stabilization of this strain is not certain. Green beefsteak fruits from 200 to 350 grams that have an amber blush at full ripeness. Juicy beefsteak meat containing a lot of gel and seeds. Yay, my favorite. Nice tomato, but the taste is not a top level, just average. All right, so Secret Seed Cartel says top 3 for greens. Vertiloom says average, indeterminate. They also say, one says French origin, the other says US. Obviously, Marmande is of French origin, but originally this mutation was found in the United States. So take that for whatever it is. It looks really pretty, and I got seeds from Secret Seed Cartel. And yeah, I don't know. Based on their reviews, I do trust. I love Secret Seed Cartel. I've had excellent luck with their seeds. And I've been told by Heidi Dolan that they are very particular about what they choose to grow. They or what they sell rather, probably and grow too. And so when they like something, I hold that in high regard. So, it's one of those things. Again, taste is subjective, so you just have to decide for yourself. Oh, Darla's here. Hi, Darla. Glad you made it. Talking more about slugs here. Beer traps work. I've heard that. I appreciate your help. Unfortunately, these Syracuse slugs are undeterred by beer traps, diatomaceous earth, eggshells, sand. My goodness, those Syracuse, they're dealing with all that snow up there in Syracuse. They're tough slugs. Ramonte, that is crazy, but Marmande Verte was not my tomato. It was horrible, very sour, and like wooden. Wow. Interesting. So I hold that in high regard too. That one may move to the back of the grow list. Thanks, Ramonte. Very sour and like wooden. Wow. Okay. Well, that's two votes to 1 for it not being great. Sure looks pretty though. I'll give it that. And now I own it. But then again, I own more tomato seeds than I ever will know what to do with, and will never plant most of them, but always searching for those perfect tomatoes. And I think I have it with Malachite box. The slug, Brianna says slugs on steroids. Yeah, those Syracuse slugs. I've heard about those Syracuse slugs. Hopefully this is a sweet one. All right, so let's move past this horrible tomato onto the next one. This one is another one I hadn't logged. This was given to me by a member. It's Etoile Blanche d'Anvers, or also known as White Star of Antwerp. Look at this gorgeous tomato. Gorgeous. That photo to the left is from Tomato Faifu. I don't know that I've seen that coloring like that on any other tomato. I forget the member that sent me the seeds is from overseas, and I'm forgetting where at the moment. The photo to the right is the interiors from Vertiloom. Anybody grow this? It sounds great. So here's what I found out about it. Tomato Faifu says it's an heirloom variety originating from Belgium. It says this, originating from Belgium for some and from France for others. Okay, so I put Belgium and France. Creamy white fruit weighing 100 to 150 grams and measuring 7 centimeters in diameter and 4 to 5 centimeters high. Swollen, flattened, and ribbed at the top with more or less pronounced rippling at the shoulders. Clusters of 4 to 5 fruits. Juicy flesh, mild and sweet taste. Not very vigorous plant with little development. Good mid-season production from, and then Verdeloom says heirloom variety originally from Belgium. I think they're saying the same exact thing here. Ribbed at the top, ripple more or less pronounced shoulders. Flesh is juicy, soft, and sweet tasting. I wondered that too, Cynthia. Very pale interior, which isn't always a great thing for me either. It's that seeds and goo, though, gets me. Because a lot of yellows I find don't have a lot of seeds and goo, and this one does. And for me, that's where all the flavor lies. But I can't get over that exterior color. Oh my gosh, it's like art. It's like a Bill Yoder tomato. Malachi Jen says, Liz and Lloyd. Liz is on my 2025 list. I'm really excited for Liz Burt and Lloyd E. Fry. But yeah, those are two reds that I'm hoping live up to what they say. But I will get you seeds for 2025, that's for sure. Oh, Ramonte. Oops, Ramonte's got a good review on this. Wow, Etoile is just an excellent tomato to pair with any fruit, the best in fruit salads. Oh, man, Ramonte. Now I need to grow this next season. That's fantastic. It looks, oh, I just can't stop looking at it. Both pictures, the interior and that exterior. I don't recall ever seeing a tomato that looked like that before. Really just gorgeous. From Antwerp. I know, but Antwerp's in Belgium, not France. I don't know what they're talking about with some originating from France too. Antwerp is in Belgium for sure. Wish list. Wow, the coloring of White Star of Antwerp wish list grows. It almost looks like it glows in the dark, doesn't it? It really looks great. Yeah, Ramonte's had this. Looks like it's going to be a good one. Pale yellow and white tomatoes taste better in the fall. You are a plethora of information, my friend. I did not know that. Did not know that. So, Ramonte, would you recommend starting white, pale yellow, and white tomatoes later so you get a fall crop? Or just start regular and just know that they will taste better as you near towards fall? Now I'm very intrigued. Miss Leaf Nicole Powers Ford, I love yellow-based bicolors. It's a must grow. I love bicolors. I like too. Some bicolors. I don't have a problem with those. It's just usually like solid orange, solid yellows. I haven't had great luck as far as intense flavor, but this one, I'm sold now. I'm sold thanks to Ramonte. Really glad I chose this one to pick through my list there, log, and share with you guys because it always find out new stuff. Ramonte says, yes, I always start them later and never grow in a greenhouse. Well, I don't have a greenhouse, so no problem there, but really helpful information, Ramonte. Thank you so much. When do you start them, Ramonte? What is later for you? I started, I joke that whenever I talk myself into a new variety, seeds accidentally fall into soil. I had some that I started as late as, let's see, my last seeds that fell into soil were Malachite Elf from Ludmila from Ukraine. I got those very late. I started them March 13th, I think, and they were big enough to plant out in the garden. Now, it will take a lot longer to, get fruit on them than some of my other ones, but I know that I can. Did I say March? I meant May 13th. So just a couple weeks ago, thanks to Fox Farm Soil, which puts everything on growth burst for me. They were big enough to start out. So it's still pushing it, but I will definitely get a harvest. I've got 2 plants growing, and that one's thanks to my friend Kina who told me about that one, and just I knew I had to have it. Um, oh, Francis, I just had my first Rumpelstiltskin ripen yesterday. It's a striped yellow and was surprisingly tasty. It's my grow out variety. Yay! I am talking about, um, I'm mentioning Rumpelstiltskin in a couple tomatoes from now. Funny. Yeah, is that funny? Well, I'm excited for you. How was it? Surprisingly tasty. It's my grow out variety. Excellent. I know I know I'm jealous. Although I am fortunate that like I started those Bill Yoder Prince ones. I started those some January, February, so I'm able to eat some of those now. And this Cheeseman's Galapagos is a nice treat. Um, and then I started some of the Depeche Mode ones in February. So I will have ripe tomatoes soon. Oh, and then my Drop the Micro. I have lots of those big bowls full of that. So soon, I don't know what my first real indeterminate tomato will be. Probably, I mean, Sufferwell's the biggest. Oh, and I've got nice size fruit on dwarf purple heartthrob. Also, I started that early as a garage tomato and purple rain. So those pretty good size fruits on those. So we shall see. Francis says it's lightly sweet, fruity, and some acidity. Sounds good to me. All right, so I think we're all in agreement that a Toile Blanche d'Anvers is something we want to grow. That is for sure for me. I just can't stop looking at that ooey gooey interior. I want to bury my face in it. And if you're the member who gave those to me, thank you very much. You know who you are. This is a neat one, and I feel like I've talked about it before, but they're just so cute. I had to talk about it again. These I got from a member from, oh gosh, Hungary. This is called Trèfle de Togo, or cloverleaf of Togo. She had it written down as Kleeblatt de Togo. It's all the same. Look at these little guys. You can really get the concept of how small they are by seeing that woman's fingers and holding one in between the fingers. It's so adorable. It's from West Africa. It's a ruffled cherry, pinky red, early maturing. Absolutely cuties. These ruffled little summer sunshine treasures hail from the Togolese Republic in West Africa. Well balanced in flavor, they are irresistible, fresh, and are solid enough in structure to serve stuffed with your favorite summer salad. Productive vines trellis well, reaching 3 feet easily. That's it. Huh. It's like a mini dwarf. I mean, not really. It's tall for a mini dwarf, but 3 feet. Cool. From tomatoes, oh, there's a site called Tomatoes and Vegetables with a Taste of Character. It's from another country, so that's what it translates to. They say it's a very unusual and rare tomato variety from West Africa. If you look at it, you might think it's a large beef tomato, but it is not. It is flat, round, ribbed pink, fruity, sweet, and juicy mini tomato. It grows bushy and medium high, well suited as a pot plant. That's what I was getting at, meaning a plant you can grow in pots. It does not need to be pruned and can easily tolerate multiple shoots. A real delicious and striking tomato, also suitable for protected outdoor cultivation. All right, Lauren's micromind's working here. Michael, you know where I'm at. Yeah, we're in the same, Michael. I know it. If it gets 3 feet tall in a big pot, what if I were to put it in a 1-gallon grow bag? These are falling into soil as soon as the show's over. I'll get something, I'm sure. It could be a fun option to grow. I can't believe you thought the same thing, Michael. Oh, sour. Ramonte says sour tomatoes, extremely prolific. I'm still growing it. I love the looks of it. I love the seeds and goo. I'm totally trying it. Yeah, I know. I don't like the sour part either. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe if you sprinkle it with a little sugar, that could be good, huh? I like it. Cloverleaf of Togo or Trèfle du Togo or Cleblet du Togo looks really fun. Yes, Karine. These look a lot like the Ballon multiflora tomatoes from Meraki Seeds. Adorable. I think that's the one I've talked about before, Karine. You're right. They look just like that. Super, super cute. I bet drizzled with like a really good aged balsamic, which is basically like topping sugar on it. Bet that would be good. I'm totally, totally growing these as soon as we're get off the air. These are falling into soil. When you cut them, it looks like little flowers. I can see. I was really wanting to find an interior picture, and I'm glad I was able to find them from Arena's Tomaten over there. So that's a fun one. Tomatoes are just amazing, are they not? Just amazing. All right, this next one, I was given by a good friend in the group from the United States, but this is from Romania. Inima de bu, which basically translates to, you ready for this? Ox heart. That's the translation. Inima de bu. But it is listed on the Arc of Taste organization website because they like to focus, and I share this pretty much every week because I feel like there's always at least one variety that's a slow food Arc of Taste variety, but they focus on regional varieties that maybe are becoming more rare, and they want to bring more awareness to them and revive these varieties. So Inima de Bu or Oxheart, I found a listing or somebody talking about it on the site Tomatoville. They say it's a Romanian variety, Oxheart type. Oh, that was profound. That was worth copying. Okay. But the Arc of Taste says Inima de Bu was once the most widespread tomato variety in the Saxon villages of Transylvania. This variety tends to be irregular in shape, light red in color, and bursting with flavor, ideal for processing, preserving for winter. They vary in size tremendously, but if grown carefully, they can grow up to 1.5 kilograms each. They have been increasingly disappearing in Romania, being replaced by tasteless modern varieties. Young people are no longer interested in saving seed from one year to the next, instead finding it easier to buy packets of, who are these ingrates? Instead finding it easier to buy packets of seed from the supermarkets or indeed potted seedlings from garden centers. Inima de Bu tomatoes can still be found in limited quantities, which is why Slow Food Tarnava Mara is currently working with local farms to replicate the few remaining seeds and distribute them to local households. Inima de Bu equals Oxheart, like I said. Bodasani is the name of a location in Romania. Middle to late season, regular leaf, red color, Oxheart. Good taste, good production. Who are these ingrates who just want to buy seeds and not save seeds? Who are these people? Not me. Not I, said the fly. Yep, with balsamic, so Cynthia, yeah. Luke says, one of the best tasting tomatoes ever, Inima de Bu. Oh, good to know. Very good to know. This looks like a fun one, and with family lineage going to Romania, I have to find these. Yeah, this was nice. I had a trade with somebody I greatly respect in the tomato world. I'll leave her name out of it so she doesn't. Not really fair. Not really fair. I think I mentioned names more than I should, but I just went through. I had logged several of the things I got from her, but this one just today. And in fact, there's probably 20 more that I'm like, oh, I forgot we traded for this. So this was a nice surprise when I came across it. She's got a wonderful collection of really rare seeds. So really happy to have this one, and good to know, Luke, that it's really good. Riverdale Garden says that looks great. Where do we get it? Good question. I found it listed on a couple of sites. Let me see if I can pull it up quickly, or maybe one of my expert Googlers out there can find it. It's listed on the Slow Food site. Looks like a place in Romania. That doesn't help. You know what I would do? I would, yeah, I'm Googling. I'm not finding it listed anywhere. Wait, let's check tomato FIFO. We can check it together. I would put it in Seed Seeking Saturday or your most wanted list. See what happens. Share screen. All right. Let's see if they have it here. Tomato FIFO. Sometimes they have things listed because they're a resource site too, but they don't have it for sale. Nope, they don't have it. But why did I come up with that though? Enema. No, they have it listed. Looks like, I don't know if you can see, can you see where I'm circling here? There's Enema Dubo red and rosy. So it looks like there might be a pink and a red. But it's not clickable, so they don't have it. But I will investigate, says Cynthia. Yeah, I want to find it for everybody too. Oh, you're welcome, my friend. That's what these shows are about. They're about finding tomatoes for each other. Enema Dubu, love the shape and stripes. Me too. And now knowing that it's good, going to have to grow it one of these years, if not next year. All right, where are we at? Oh my, we're almost at 2 hours. How many more do we have to go? Two more. Okay, next one. This came from a member from overseas too that I did a trade with. Looks awesome. It's called Delta Dawn. And Francis, here's mention of the Rumpelstiltskin from Vertiloom, says the varieties from the Rumpelstiltskin project, the first non-dwarf selection. Wasn't sure what that meant. I thought maybe as a dwarf tomato project one, because I know they have series, and I wasn't sure if Rumpelstiltskin was one of them or not. The fact that they made a point to say the first non-dwarf selection from that was what led me to believe, but I don't know. But it was funny that you mentioned Rumpelstiltskins also, so I don't know. Delta Dawn, isn't this gorgeous? It's from the United States. Had no idea. Flattened fruits with pronounced ribs at the top, 100 and 200 grams. Beautiful red, orange, yellow striped skin. Juicy, bicolored flesh with a fruity, sweet taste. Indeterminate plants with medium vigor, regular foliage. Although it says a potato leaf variety can pop up. Can I tell you, this year I've heard from so many of you, including myself, that have had a variety that's supposed to be potato leaf or regular leaf, and you've gotten the opposite. Happened to me with Lavorgienne, which is cool. So I'm growing both of them. But yeah, it's funny, but interesting. They say that a potato leaf can pop up. 1.5 meters to 5 feet tall, productive from mid-season to first frost. Doesn't this look gorgeous? These photos are from Vertiloom. That is stunning, says Miss Leaf Nicole Powers Ford. I agree. Oh, Terry, I looked for Prince Charming Bastard, even embarrassing, on the phone. Should when do they restock the seeds? Yeah, I've looked all over for Prince Charming's Bastard, and I have tried emailing the breeder, who I believe is MIA. He's from an Indian reservation, so perhaps he's down in the res. But if anybody, that is my most wanted for sure, and has been for a while. I also know that Julia Peacock has been looking for it for a long time. So if anybody has a lead, I would greatly appreciate it. Cynthia, you and me both. Delta Dawn, what's that flower you have on? Could it be a painted rose faded rose from days gone by? Delta Dawn, you must try it, says Ramonte. Oh, you are our resident trier today. I think I'm going to have to. This cross section, just outrageous. And even the outside, the color is so unique. The shape really looks like a beautiful, juicy, lots of seeds and goo flower. Yeah, that's all I know about it. Delta Dawn. Kelly says, Delta Dawn's heading to my wish list. Yeah. And Francis, I've got to have Delta Dawn. I'm an enabler. I'm an enabler. Looks amazing. I agree. Bran, I definitely need this one. That Delta Dawn is sexy. It is. No filters needed, right? No filters needed. That happened to me with Abraham Brown. Some are potato leaf and others are regular. Yeah, it's weird, huh? I'm growing more potato leaf this year than I ever have before. Mama EC wants to know, how's the flavor, Ramonte? I want to know too. Inquiring minds want to know. I was singing Delta Dawn too. Could it be a faded rose from days gone by? And did I hear you say you was meeting me here today to take me to your mansion in the sky? My age music back when I was 8 or so. I remember singing this when I was a little girl. That's how I know it too. Darla says, info I found on Delta Dawn says it's part of the Rumpelstiltskin project and is the first non-dwarf of the project. Yeah, that's what it said in Vertiloom too. Does that mean it's from the Dwarf Tomato project? It's part of the Rumpelstiltskin series? Where did you get that, Darla? I'm wondering if it's from the same site. Mine was from Vertiloom. Oh, here we go. More info coming up from Ramonte. Lineage includes, oh, it's definitely Dwarf Tomato project. I thought so. H28 and Dwarf Wild Fred. From this cross, I think Copperhead is the best tasting. I grew Copperhead last year. I thought it was gorgeous. I didn't agree that it was great tasting. I was disappointed. I thought the coloring on it was very much a me tomato, but I was a little underwhelmed, I thought. But again, taste is subjective. This looks amazing. This looks really amazing. I really just need to keep a notepad here, write down all of your notes, those of you like Ramonte and Luke, what you guys have grown today from what I featured today. I need to write these things down. I'm that enabling friend Mom warned me about. I am. We're getting ready to wind down. If you haven't typed in hashtag tomato, please do so, because I'm going to do a giveaway for the seeds that you will get sometime in this century. Yeah, just write hashtag tomato in the comments. Where's my little thingy? Where is it? There it is. Type hashtag tomato in the comments to win. I love your singing, Lauren. You must be. Thank you. I was going to make a comment that wasn't. I was going to say that you might have problems with your hearing, but that wasn't very nice. Good Mind Seeds. Good Mind Seeds is out of stock. They're not even in existence any longer. That Phil Seneca is the breeder. So when do they come back in January? No, never. I believe that business hasn't been active since 2016, maybe a little bit later. If you look at the site, he says he closed it down for health reasons. So yeah, I could only wish that it was just for not being in stock, but he's from, I think he's from, what's the name of the town in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But he lives on an Indian reservation, I believe. So I think some drama happened. I don't really know the take on it, but I've tried emailing him, and if you look at that site, it's been shut down for quite a while. Sadly, wah, wah. Swamp Bitch, so that one made it to my list. All right, me too. Ramonte, I thought the name sounded like a Blaine tomato. We were all singing together, yes. Yeah, I found that inactive, unfortunately. Yeah. All right, so we have one left. And it's from the same person that gave me Delta Dawn, who has beautiful handwriting. This next one's called Amalia. Now, I've had these seeds for a while from another source. But theirs looked quite different. So these that came from Vertiloom, and she wrote on the package that they were from Vertiloom. Look at the colors on this baby. That is gorgeous. So it says it's a recent variety proposed by Cultive Theroux in France. It's a crossing of Lucky Tiger with Orange Walk. Small oval tomatoes with a typical pointed nipple at the bottom, caramel colored skin with green influences, wine colored flesh. That's what I love, that deep wine color. Juicy with a nice aromatic sweet taste. Determinate growing shrub broad plants of 120 to 130 centimeters or 4 to 4.5 feet with thin foliage. High yields with mid-season. The fruits can be stored for a long time on the plant and after picking. Strong plants, possible to grow in pots, Michael. So yeah, that's beautiful. Anybody grow Amalia? Hi, Jerry. Glad you're here. Mama EC said, ooh. Yeah, this is what I know from Amalia. I know Heirloom Seed House has it as well. Looks rich. Yes, I agree. It does look rich. I love the cross of Lucky Tiger. I don't know Orange Walk. Lucky Tiger I grew last year, and I can see the influence of that in here. That was a pretty good cherry. That's my kind of tomato. Yeah, it looks good. And of course, Michael, I bet your mind is also to, ooh, we can use this to cross with something. That's where my mind goes to these days. Amalia has a strange history, but it is not only from France. Well, do tell, my friend. Do tell. It says proposed by Cultive Theroux, France. So I don't know what that means, proposed by. And where did I get this information from? That was from... Looks like that was from Heirloom Seed House. Actually, it was from 2 different sources. I got that same information from. Orange Walk is on Tomato Eden. Let's take a look. Now I need to know. Good old Tomato Eden. I know you, Michael. Our minds work alike. All right, let's remove this. Let's go on Tomato Eden, see what Orange Walk looks like. I forgot I grew Lucky Tiger last year. Those are really cute. They're little, and that point. What's going on with Tomato Eden here? The point was a little sharp. I mean, not to like cut you or anything like that, but yeah, it was a little pointy. Rob kept all right, something's going on with the website. Here we go. Orange. Oh, you know, now that I'm thinking this, I wonder if I have Orange Walk. Yeah, I think I do. Oh, it's a Tom Wagner variety. Oh, that's cool. I think I do have this. Orange Walk, Tom Wagner variety. He's just amazing, huh? Fruits are yellow, very few seeds, pepper-shaped with a long spout, weighing 150 to 250 grams. The oily pulp will not leave anyone indifferent. That looks great. What a great cross. So that's got the point too. So that's Amalia. That's Amalia, and that's my 10. Actually, it was 11 I'm obsessed with this week. I threw one in, plus talking about the stuff in the beginning. So that was 11, my lucky number. So thanks, everybody, for being here. Hope you had as good of a time as I did. I always do. And let's give away some seeds. Remove from studio. Stop screen. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night. Well, depending on what time it is in your neck of the woods. Jen and I will be going live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you tune in. You're not going to want to miss this great 90 minutes with William Alexander, author of 10 Tomatoes That Changed the World. Fascinating, fascinating book. And also the $64 tomato. So again, I'm going to give you guys access to my spreadsheet, and you can choose 2 varieties for whoever wins. So I know there's a couple of you from last week. Becca, Rana, Nicole, Mama EC, you guys all won last week. Danielle, I've got you written down. Haven't forgotten about you, and from weeks prior. It's just been a bit nutty around here. But I'm always good for my promises, and I always make it worth your wait because I always include bonus varieties. So while it may be a pain initially waiting, it'll be worth it. Okay, so I'm going to draw 5. If you win, please email me or private message me. Private message on Facebook is better, but if you're not in the Facebook group, I just put my email address in the comments. Oh, Ramonte, we're so glad you're here too. You're so helpful in so many ways. So thank you. It's nice having you here. I know it's very late where you are, and I hope you get some sleep. Okay, let's draw these 5 names. And here we go. First one. What's today? The 6th? It is. Brian Hodgset. Yay, Brian. I said this last week, but in case you guys weren't here or if you don't remember, I've changed the security settings on my personal spreadsheet, just that you have to ask for access to it. So when you go, I'll send you guys the link. When you go on, it'll just have you request access. No big deal. So if you have the link to my spreadsheet, it looks like you're locked out. You're really, well, I guess you really are, but not personal. Just for security settings, I put a lot of work into it and just want to make sure I know who's using my spreadsheet. All right, so Brian's first winner. Who's next? Really need some background music for these. Julia, speaking of the devil, congrats, Julia, in our quest for Prince Charming's bastard. Okay, next one. Riverdale Gardens, congrats. Okay, what do we have? 2 more? Yep, 2 more. And if there's something, Cynthia, congrats. If there's something that you saw today, I have seeds for all of the varieties I talked about today. Do I have extras? Not sure. Depends on the varieties. If there's something that you saw today that really caught your eye, you can certainly check with me. Some I may, some I may not. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, one last one. Betty Johnson, congratulations, Betty. Congrats to all of you. And that's a wrap on this show on Lauren's Tomato Awesome Sauce for June 6th. Had a great time with you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Congrats to everybody. Awesome. Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations, me, she says. Oh, Julia, you never win anything? Oh, well, I'm glad you won today. So yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Well, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night at Tomato Talk Live with Jen and I with William Alexander. And until then, until next time, peace and love. Get your gratitude on and go grow tomatoes. Bye, gang.